Remainers in the civil service resign in protest to Boris Johnson's no-deal Brexit. David Frost joins the House of Lords, and the European Union have yet another meltdown. Well, ever since Boris Johnson announced that he's essentially ditching the withdrawal agreement, the deal that obviously both sides agreed because of the Northern Ireland Protocol, Remainers are freaking out, the European Union having a meltdown, and the civil service, they're not too happy either. We're having a number of civil servants resigning. Well, we've already had a number of Remainers in the civil service who've left this year, and we have another one. So in this video, we're going to talk about that, the reaction we've had today in Parliament from the Remainer MPs and Brexiteers, and how Boris Johnson is going ahead with their no-deal planning. But before we start, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has already purchased our new merch. We got the We Are The Media t-shirts, and obviously other merchandise as well. You get the phone cases and mugs and everything. If you want to obviously get your own merchandise, support the channel, support the movement, check out the link in the description, or just scroll down under the video. You'll see all the products. Now, let's start with the news. So the top UK government lawyer who's been heading the whole department as a civil servant has now quit over the Brexit withdrawal agreement changes. Jonathan Jones is said to be very unhappy about the decision to override parts of the Northern Ireland Protocol. The head of the UK's government legal department has now quit over suggestions that Boris is going to completely change the Northern Ireland Protocol, and basically this makes Jonathan Jones the sixth senior Whitehall official to resign in 2020, with all the tensions that we have between Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings on the one side, and then the rest of the civil service. Well, yeah, because if you've been following this channel over the past few months, we've been reporting all the changes, all the shake-up that Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson's team have been doing. A number of civil servants, especially the typical elitist, Remainy, kind of essentially statist people who have either been fired or resigned. And Jonathan Jones is the next one. Yeah, so far we've had Mark Sedbill, who was the cabinet secretary, who's left, Simon McDonald from the Foreign Office, Philip Rotnam, who clashed with Priti Patel at the Home Office, Richard Heaton at Justice, Jonathan Slater at Education, and now Jonathan Jones from the legal department of the government. Now, this whole thing is coming because obviously we're getting close to the deadline of the Brexit transition, end of December. But yesterday and over the last couple of days, Boris Johnson's team have told the EU, we're not going to wait until December, because they know that the European Union always wait until the last minute to kind of essentially compromise or change something or push for something. Boris Johnson has now given the European Union just over 30 days to accept the Brexit deal that Britain has already offered. It's a Canadian-style trade deal, and they said, if you're going to say no, it's fine. We're going ahead with no deal, and we are ditching the Northern Ireland Protocol and the withdrawal agreement that we signed, which is kind of against the international law, but the Tories don't care. The Internal Market Bill, which will be put in Parliament tomorrow and Wednesday, it will put powers in the hands of British ministers to interpret the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, Michel Barnier, who's heading the negotiations from the EU side, is expected to insist in Brexit negotiations in London today that the UK must implement the protocol in full. Now, the head of the European Commission, von der Leyen, has tweeted, I trust the British government to implement the withdrawal agreement, an obligation under international law and a prerequisite for any future partnership. Now, you think that would work, but this government is not your typical government. We have obviously, that we've criticised Boris Johnson's team on a number of domestic policies. They haven't been the best government, but on this issue and foreign diplomacy, they've been quite robust. And Dominic Cummings, with the way he's doing his shake-up in the establishment, all the reforms that he's been making, is making a bit of wave right now. And I don't think they're concerned about Ursula von der Leyen. Yes, Dominic Cummings, who's Boris Johnson's chief advisor, wants civil servants to take more responsibility when things go wrong. And, this is the whole point of these shake-up. Now, today in Parliament, Brandon Lewis, one of the government ministers, actually admitted that yes, we are kind of breaking the international law, but we don't care.
I would say to my honourable friend that yes, this does break international law in a very specific and limited way. We are taking the power to disapply the EU law concept of direct effect required by Article 4 in a certain very tightly defined circumstances. And there are clear precedents for the UK and indeed other countries needing to consider their international obligations as circumstances change. And I would say to honourable members here, many of whom would have been in this House when we passed the Finance Act in 2013, which contains an example of treaty override. It contains provisions that expressly disapply international tax treaties to the extent that these conflict with the general anti-abuse rule. And I would say to my honourable friend, we are determined to ensure we are delivering on the agreement we have in the protocol, and our leading priority is to do that through the negotiations and through the joint committee work. The clauses that will be in the bill tomorrow are specifically there for, should that fail, ensuring that we're able to deliver on our commitments to the people of Northern Ireland.
Now, the reactions we had from the Remainer MPs, even the Tories, has been quite fascinating in Parliament. They're all having a meltdown. Even Theresa May, yeah, she's still around. Theresa May stood up and asked a question about this whole issue with the withdrawal agreement, ditching the Northern Ireland Protocol, to make sure that, if she can still support Boris Johnson or not.
The United Kingdom government signed the withdrawal agreement with the Northern Ireland Protocol. This Parliament voted that withdrawal agreement into UK legislation. The government is now changing the operation of that agreement. Given that, how can the government reassure future international partners that the UK can be trusted to abide by the legal obligations of the agreements it signs?
Yeah, well, another parliamentary question that no one really cares about. It doesn't really matter because all these changes are happening. David Frost is now leading the whole team, and David Frost today has now become a Lord. He's joined the House of Lords. Again, another pushback against your typical elitist establishment people. They're not really happy about having someone like David Frost joining the top. Now, on the other hand, the Tories in Parliament have also sent a strong message to the European Union because they say we are quite serious about making sure that Brexit, clean Brexit, actually happens. So whether it's going to be a Canada-style trade deal or on the basis of an Australian-style WTO Brexit. Yeah, so the Tories have said, if the EU is unwilling to do a deal with us, there are two options. The first is to enact domestic legislation that will largely nullify the direct effect and direct applicability of the EU law. We have the mandate and a majority to do this. Second, if the EU insists on an unreasonable interpretation of the withdrawal agreement, the UK must stand ready to repudiate that. I hope it is not necessary, but if it is the only way to achieve the UK prosperity, then and the kind of sovereign independence, which is the democratic right of any nation recognized under the UN Charter, then so be it. And most other nations would respect us for that. Yeah, now, as we said, the European Union and all the European countries are, slightly being triggered by all this, and also the Remainers in the UK. Let's start with the Republic of Ireland. Yeah, so obviously the Irish government are not too happy. They've tweeted that this would be a very unwise way to proceed with Brexit. This is in response to Boris Johnson planning to undermine the withdrawal treaty on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. David Gauke, he was the future once. He used to be a Tory Remainer MP until he got kicked out of Parliament back in December 2019. He said, so every Conservative MP will be ordered to vote against the deal that they promised to support at the last general election. Oh no, what would we do? And our favourite Chancellor, well, ex-Chancellor Philip Hammond, he's also talking. Yeah, he said, let's be clear on 2 points. Leaving without a deal would not be a good outcome for the UK, nor would it be the outcome Boris and the Brexiteers promised. Really? I mean, this is literally what they promised. Actual Brexit. Number 2, the UK is a rule of law state, and attempting to legislate domestically to override international law would be an incredibly dangerous step and bound to lead to conflict with, oh my god. So yeah, so he's basically going around with his typical Project Fear. But as we said, they don't really care at this point, the Boris Johnson's government. Wednesday, tomorrow, this new internal market bill is actually going to be introduced, and they're going to change the withdrawal agreement. They're going to ignore it basically, and the European Union has no power to object, apart from the fact that they're going to go around saying that the UK are breaking the international law. So obviously stay tuned, especially on this channel. Subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow and Thursday we'll be reporting on this and everything else that's been going on. Thanks again obviously for supporting us, all the members who've been backing this channel until now. And the other thing is, obviously we have the new schedule. Again, I'll put the actual schedule, proper schedule, at the end of the video so you guys get used to it. We're having a lot of new kind of shows and formats for you guys, especially for the members, because you guys have been supporting me. If you want to obviously support the channel and become a member, the link is in the description. And as I said, don't forget to get your new merchandise. We are the media. And yeah, stay in touch. I'm Tousi. I'll see you guys in the next video.